Hello. Today, a topic that many of you have asked for. Separable verbs. Now, separable verbs are a nightmare for many students because they don't understand them. They have no idea what to do with them. And yeah, if you have taken lessons in other schools or institutions, probably you have not either practiced it or not seen it yet. Maybe they just explained it in a different way. So today I'm going to show you that indeed separable verbs are very easy to understand when you understand sentence structure. So before we start, let me point out that yes, I already made a video about sentence structure. If you have not seen it yet, I recommend you watch that one first. All right, so separable verbs. In English, separable verbs are phrasal verbs. So yes, they are exactly the same, but there is a difference. Exactly, separable. In Dutch, these verbs we can separate. Exactly. That is the difficult part. But in itself, it's exactly the same. Now, in English, what are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are verbs and prepositions that go together where the preposition changes the meaning of the verb. A famous phrasal verb in English is look up. Look up has many different meanings. Look up the meaning, admire, to visit, many different ways of using it. In Dutch, we have the same thing. In English, we put the preposition after the verb. In Dutch, we put it before the verb, and we make it one word. Let's use these examples today. Uitleggen, afwassen. All right. So, separable verbs. The problem is that we have 4 things that we always need to be careful about. And yes, all of them have to do with sentence structure. Okay? So, let's use uitleggen. Now, leggen as a verb means to put. Uit means out. But uitleggen doesn't mean to put out. It means to explain. Now, sentence structures. One of the rules that is so important is that whenever I have 2 verbs, the verb of action is there, at the end of the sentence. Now, with separable verbs, that's the same thing. They are not different from any other verb. I put it at the end of the sentence in infinitive. All right? So, for example, ik kan alles uitleggen. Kan, as in the ability, that's the first verb. Uitleggen at the end in infinitive. Hij moet alle borden afwassen. He must wash all the dishes. Afwassen as in washing dishes. Where is it? Yes, over there at the end. So, 0 difference between the normal verbs and the separable verbs. Second rule, or second situation. Here we're talking about simple present tense and imperfectum past tense. In this case, we only have 1 verb. In that case, we are obligated to separate the verb. How do we separate the verb? By keeping the verb here but sending the preposition to the end of the sentence. How does it work? Take a look. Ik leg alles 3 keer uit. Uit is the preposition at the end of the sentence. Yes, it is that strange looking preposition at the end of the sentence. I always call it PP, a pretentious preposition. It pretends to be a verb. And this is where the idea of sentence structure is important. Remember, I just said, whenever we have 2 or more verbs, the action is over there at the end of the sentence. And yes, this preposition is a second verb. Why? Ik leg alles 3 keer. So if I don't put the preposition, that means I put everything 3 times. Ik leg alles 3 keer uit. Now the uit is my action. It changes the meaning of the verb and becomes I explain everything 3 times. So yes, uit, action at the end of the sentence. Hij wast alle borden af. Af is the preposition at the end of the sentence, changing the meaning of wassen. The same happens in the imperfect and past tense. Ik legde alles 3 keer uit. I explained everything 3 times. Hij waste alle borden af. He washed all the dishes, or he did all the dishes. See, same rule, same way of separating the verb. Good. Still with me? Excellent. Third part. Past participles. All right, we already know that a past participle is indeed that root of the verb. I need a prefix ge, and according to soft ketchup, I add d or t. Let's use uitleggen. Okay? So, uitleggen, the verb part is leggen. I take off the en. Okay, soft ketchup, no soft ketchup. Spelling rules, leg, no, 1 G needs to go. Excellent. Now I put the ge before, geleg. Not soft ketchup, it means die, gelegde. Oh yeah, and now the preposition, where does it go? Here, at the beginning, uit, gelegd. That's how it works. So the ge here separates the verb from the preposition. Okay, we separate them. The prefix separates the verb from the preposition. That's how it works. So in the past participle, we always separate the verb from the preposition with the prefix. Hij heeft de borden afgewassen. Wassen is irregular in past participle. Ik heb alles 3 keer uitgelegd. At the end of the sentence, separated the ge, the verb, from the preposition. Oh my God, today. Oh, okay. Now, 4. This one is usually the most complicated, but you will see that it's actually very easy. Yeah, we have been talking about these treacherous basin, right? That sentence that you get additionally and that we don't have in English. Yes, indeed, all the verbs need to go to the end. So with separable verbs, that is not an exception. Where does the verb go? There, at the end. Now, in the rule of simple present and imperfect tense, I told you that the preposition goes to the end. But if the preposition is at the end, and because of the basin, the verb is at the end, yes, you got it, exactly. We keep everything at the end. We don't need to separate, And yes, we keep it one word. Omdat ik alles uitleg. See? No separation at all. But yes, indeed, you do need to conjugate. Omdat ik alles af was. Af, preposition, was, verb. At the end, no separation. But yes, conjugation. Those are the rules. Yes, I can hear you thinking right now, but when are these verbs separable? That is indeed a difficult part. I know. There are several ways that you can, remember them. One of them has to do with accent or intonation. Separable verbs, we put the intonation of the verb on the preposition. For example, uitleggen. The intonation is on uit. Afwassen. The intonation is on af. When a verb is not separable, the intonation is on the verb. For example, ondertekenen, to sign. I know. How do I know where to put the intonation? I know, that's difficult. But it is just something that you can use to remember. I will put a list of prepositions in the description where you can see that these are always separable. And yes, on it, I will also put ones that are never separable. And in between, I will put a few where, yes, they are sometimes separable and sometimes not. And that is indeed memory. All right, now you know the rules. Keep going, practice, and don't forget, like and subscribe.